Welcome back to the deep dive. Think about the last few creators you followed on social media. They
Hmm.
talk about their life, they share what they're into, and, sometimes they'll mention a product they absolutely love.
Right.
And that recommendation, it just feels different from a normal TV ad, doesn't it? You trust them, their opinion, maybe 10 times more than some big polished ad from a huge corporation.
Yeah, that difference. You could call it the trust premium. And
Yeah.
that's really the engine that has powered this explosive growth of influencer marketing all over the world.
And it seems like nowhere is that growth more critical than in a market like India.
Exactly. It's become this fascinating and sometimes, well, a cautionary case study for everyone else.
Because our sources are showing that this incredible growth has kind of created a breaking point.
Mm.
We're really looking at the ethical baggage that comes with it, specifically this huge deliberate problem of hidden ads.
Right. So today we're doing a deep dive into the regulations, looking hard at what happens when, commerce and content collide in one of the world's fastest growing digital markets.
And our mission seems pretty clear.
It is. We want to unpack the actual government rules that are meant to protect you, the consumer, and then figure out why brands and creators are just intentionally ignoring them and what the consequences, the real financial and systemic costs are going to be.
Okay, so let's start with the basics, the legal framework itself. Every consumer has a right to know if they're being sold to. It's that simple.
Hmm.
In India, the main body is the Consumer Protection Authority, the CCPA, and they work alongside guidelines from ASIA. And these rules are not suggestions, they're about mandating transparency.
And what's really key here is that the legal need for disclosure, it's not just about getting a big check. The rules kick in if the influencer gets any kind of benefit for the post.
Any benefit at all. And the documents are so clear that the term benefit it's incredibly broad. It's meant to eliminate any wiggle room.
Exactly. We're talking about the obvious stuff like direct payments or commissions,
Mm.
but also the more subtle things
Like what?
like free products, big discounts, gifts, a free hotel stay. Basically, any perk, monetary or not, that the creator gets for posting. The second that value exchange happens, that post has to have a clear tag, hashtag AD, or hashtag sponsored.
But this is where it gets tricky, right? Our sources say there's this huge gray area, especially around unsolicited gifts.
Yeah.
Like if a brand sends a PR box with zero obligation to post and the creator just genuinely loves the product and posts about it, does that still count?
That is the exact nuance that the regulators are trying to nail down.
Yeah.
The framework right now leans toward, yes, you should disclose, especially if it's a high-value product because a relationship is still formed.
Okay.
But the real problem, the one the analysis highlights, is when the benefit is given on the condition of a post. That is a clear transaction. It has to be disclosed, period. Doesn't matter if the creator genuinely likes it or not.
And even with that clarity, our sources say non-compliance is just rampant. And here's the really shocking part from the analysis.
Mhm.
The problem isn't just creators, forgetting or trying to be sneaky. The documents show that in a lot of these cases, the brands themselves are telling the creators to hide the fact that it's a promotion.
It's the brand driving the deception. And what's so fascinating is the psychology behind it. Brands are convinced, based on their own often flawed metrics, that adding that hashtag AD tag just kills engagement.
It lowers their return on investment, or so they think.
Right. They think transparency is bad for business. So they're chasing these immediate short-term numbers over building any kind of long-term trust.
Yeah.
It's a fundamental bet against honesty.
Wow.
And the documents, they even detail the specific tactics brands push for. This isn't subtle stuff. Instead of clear tags, they tell creators to frame it as a, quote, genuine, spontaneous review.
So they want the influencer to act like they found the product on their own, maybe even that they bought it themselves.
Yes, exactly. Using language that suggests, oh, I finally got my hands on this. Think of those unboxing videos where the creator acts all surprised, but they were paid weeks ago to give that exact performance.
The goal is just to make the ad totally indistinguishable from a real recommendation.
Totally. And if we look at the bigger picture here, this isn't just misleading. It's a violation of consumer rights. It's straight up illegal, according to the CCPA guidelines. For a brand to tell a creator to lie like that, they're not just risking their reputation, they're facing serious legal trouble.
Which brings us right to the consequences.
Right.
Why does this matter so much to you, the consumer? I mean, beyond just the feeling of being lied to, what are the actual harms?
Well, the harms are pretty significant. First, people are misled. They buy things based on what they think is an honest opinion, but it's really a paid script. That leads to bad purchase decisions.
And buyer's remorse, I'd imagine.
For sure. And second, and maybe this is more important, it creates unfair influence. If you believe your favorite creator spent their own money on something, that recommendation carries enormous weight. When you find out that's false, the very trust that makes the whole system work is, it's broken.
And the government seems to be saying that this broken trust is a crisis that needs a really strong response. So let's get into the penalties, because this is where things get real.
Well, they are serious.
Hmm.
And they're designed to hit both the creator and the brand where it counts, their bank accounts and their ability to even work in the future.
Okay, so what kind of financial punishment are we talking about here?
For not disclosing a paid promotion, the fines can be stacked. Initially, you're looking at a 10 lakh rupees, but for repeat offenses, it can get much, much bigger.
How big?
The maximum fine can reach 50 lakh rupees. For our international listeners, that's 5 million rupees.
5 million. That is an incredible amount of money, especially for an individual creator or a smaller brand. That's not a slap on the wrist, that's potentially career ending.
It's meant to be devastating. The authorities are not playing around. But honestly, it gets even worse than just the money.
How?
The government can also impose a ban on any future endorsements, a complete ban. And that applies to both the creator who hid the ad and the brand that told them to.
Wow. A ban. That's fascinating because it strikes at the very heart of their business model.
It does.
Yeah.
And it forces them to ask a really important question. Is a small, temporary bump in likes from hiding the hashtag AD tag really worth losing millions of rupees and your ability to do endorsements ever again?
For a creator, that's literally the end of their job. For a brand, being banned from influencer marketing in one of the world's biggest digital economies, that's a huge strategic blow.
It is. It changes the conversation from, is this unethical, to, is this completely unsustainable? And the answer is a clear no.
So we keep coming back to this idea. Influencer marketing only works because of that trust.
Exactly. That trust is the currency. And if brands and creators misuse it, they devalue the entire system for everyone.
But let's shift to the solution. The analysis suggests the industry is at a point where it has to evolve, right?
It has to. The future is all about authenticity and treating transparency not as a problem, but as an asset.
So being upfront doesn't actually reduce your influence. The thinking is that honest disclosure actually strengthens it over time because it builds real credibility.
It builds a stronger, more sustainable market. And the documents suggest 3 big shifts are needed. First, influencers themselves have to put their audience first, ahead of what a single brand wants. They need to have the courage to say no to hiding promotions.
Okay, that's number one.
Second, brands have to stop playing this game. They have to respect consumer rights and accept that disclosure is just the cost of entry now. It's not an obstacle.
And third,
And third, the platforms, the social media companies, they have to step up. They should be building and mandating really clear disclosure tools, making it impossible to forget to tag a post.
so that simple hashtag #AD tag isn't a sign of a weak campaign like some marketers think?
Not at all. In this new regulated world, that tag is a badge of integrity. It shows the creators being responsible, and the brand is so confident in its product, it doesn't need to trick you into buying it.
It's the foundation for real power in the creator economy.
Absolutely.
So the key takeaway for you, the listener, is this. In this whole attention economy, the ethical rules, the ones enforced by regulations like the CCPA, they're not just rules. They're the foundation. And if creators and brands don't protect that foundation by being honest, they lose the one thing that makes them valuable to you in the first place.
And we'll leave you with one final thought to mull over from all this material. If brands are so scared of the hashtag AD tag that they're willing to risk these massive 7-figure fines and getting banned entirely just to hide it, what does that say?
Yeah.
Does it mean they lack fundamental faith in the actual value of the product they're trying to sell you? And what does that tell you about the authenticity of the whole system?
A lot to think about the next time you're scrolling through your feed. Thank you for joining us for this deep dive into mandatory transparency in digital promotion. We'll see you next time.